Okay, Year 8, and welcome back to our little tutorial. Okay, this is week 7 to draw a letter on the cereal box and begin cutting out. So the last day that we were in contact with each other, we had drawn out our letter onto the A4 piece of paper, and then you altered the shape. Okay, and now what you want to do is you want to actually take that letter and you want to now draw it out onto the cereal box. Okay, we gridded up the cereal box in the last lesson actually. All right, and what we want to do now is draw the letter on it. So if you can, for now, forget about all the building out and all the added extras that you're doing, and let's just, for this task, concentrate on the actual basic letter. Okay, so because I demonstrated using an H, I am going to do an H on the cereal box, which you watched me grid up. Okay, remember we have it here where it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And here we have got the front of our cereal box here. Okay, 6 squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, if you remember when I was doing this, the first thing that I wanted to highlight was the halfway point, because obviously that's a good place to start for the center of your H. All right, now you will be able to take on board the skills. Obviously I can't do all letters in the alphabet, but you can take on board the skills that are required for doing the letters. Okay, and I'll try and do some rounded ones too. All right, so if we look, our H is 2 squares wide, and then the center of it is 2 squares also. So let's locate the center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was the center point, if we remember. I'm going to just draw that on for you. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this lower line here, that would be the center point. Okay, it isn't a great example because I'm using a red pen on top of pink and you can't really see. Okay, maybe I could highlight it by scribbling out and you'll be able to see better there. Okay, that is the center line. And we know that we were drawing, perhaps I could get a darker pen. Let's see. I have a shortage of black pens. Let's see if this works. Okay, so on this we were 2 squares, one at either side of the halfway point, and it was 2 squares wide. 2 squares. Okay, so there's the halfway point, 1 on the upper side, 1 on the lower, and 2 squares wide. So that really is our H there. Okay, the bridge of it, and here. All right, so you can see there the bridge of the H. And then very easily, all we simply do is draw straight up and straight down, straight up and straight down. Okay, so we'll go to those little points. Okay, and we will draw straight up from those. Okay, and straight up. And we'll go do likewise at the bottom. Oh, oops, just be careful with your wee box. Just takes a wee bit of care because the box, with being empty, is quite a little fragile state. Now that's where I got you to just extend that on down. So if you wouldn't mind, just take your wee marker or your wee pen or whatever it is that you're using and just extend that on down, because that helps you later on when you are working out what bits of the box to keep. And likewise at this side, just take a wee moment and extend that on up. Okay, and here on up. Hopefully you can see that. All right, so we've extended into the little sort of flap region. All right, now we're going to turn over and we're going to do this on the other side. Now, lucky for you, H is symmetrical. All right, so whenever you turn it round, it's going to be exactly the same place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was our halfway line. We'll draw it with the little squiggles for the benefit of the interview. Okay, 1 square up from there. This was the wee side I had to alter. and 1 square down from there. So I need to make sure I use the right lines. And then we were to draw straight up. Wee bit wobbly, make sure you keep your lines nice and straight. Up. And up. And likewise the other side. It's just if you don't lean too heavy, it doesn't do too much wobbling. Just a wee bit of precision with your ruler. Very important that you get this very accurate. Okay, so for all you little budding engineers out there, this should be a walk in the park. And for those of you that might just be a wee bit more carefree, just be aware that you need to be precise. Okay, so we've got our little H, if you can see there. Okay, we've got the H drawn on. Okay, there's the bridge of it, there's the legs. Now the good thing about this is that I am going to be able to, because this comes right out to the side, I can save this part of the H and this part, okay, at both sides. And if I'm very clever about the cutting out, I can actually fold little bits in and save those as well, okay? But we'll show you that in a wee moment, okay? So I'm going to put the H to the side, and just for the sake of those of you doing a B or a rounded letter, I'm trying to do a wee bit of everything. There's a B. Okay, we'll get rid of that. We don't need that now. Okay, so let's reflect back on the B. Here was our box, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 10. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 10. Okay, and you can maybe see the B in the rectangle. Okay, and then the B in the rectangle. And I have taken it right out to the sides so that when it comes to putting this box together, this letter together, I don't need to find any remaining card for in there because it already exists. And that's why you must take it out to the edges. Okay, I have a B already drawn on at this side just to replicate what is here, using exactly the same squares, curving from one corner to another. Okay, and finding my little halfway point in the center. All right, and just hold that up a wee bit closer with hope that you can actually see that along with the sheet. Okay, good. All right, now the difference with this is when you flip this over, you're naturally going to want to put the B on this way. But remember, this is the spine of the B, so you must make sure that you flip it the correct way, and this time you have to almost do the B back to front, and that's going to be with a lot of letters. So let's just see, let's just replicate what is here. We're 2 squares up and 2 squares in is that point. So 2 squares up, 2 squares in, that's there. We come up, this little straight bit here comes up 1, 2 squares, 1, 2. Okay, so it's very important that you remember that we're now doing it back to front. Okay, we go across, let's find the center point of this, we go across 2 squares, so 1, 2. Okay, and if we look, it goes straight for there and then curves just around 1 square. So let's just, if you hope you can see, we're going to draw straight across and we're going to curve round. Curving from one corner to the other is a good guide because it means then you can't really sort of go off piste too much. Just keep it as you always do your curve within 1 square. All right, the bridge or the center part of the B is 2 squares deep, so 1, 2. This must replicate that. This comes up 2 squares. Okay, goes straight for 1 square. It curves up round from one corner to the other, and likewise on round the other side. Okay, hopefully you can see that. It's very difficult just with the cereal box. If you really struggle, open the cereal box out and you can always do it in the inside, but it just means having to redraw your grid. Okay, and now we're going to put in these little bits up here. So we want these to follow round across and up here, and again just for ease, curve just from one corner to the other. Okay, now this one hasn't got its little extended line. Okay, and likewise at the bottom, let's do these bits. Just the one corner is just curved from one corner of the square to the other. goes across. So that means in this square here, we curve from one corner to the other. Okay. All right. So we're getting the shape of the B, and let's see about just doing the little center part. What was the center line? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 was the center line. And again, just for ease, curve from one corner to another. Don't go off piece and try and curve across different squares. Just choose the one wee square and you just do a nice curve from one to the other. So we're working on these, and it only goes in, just in one wee square. So in one square is where our little sort of, the little bite out of the B is. And we are going to then curve round from one corner to the other here, and from one corner to the other there. Okay, so hope you can maybe see the B, my back to front B. All right, but you can understand that if I turn it round, it will match the B on the other side. Okay, so that's the B drawn out, and we're going to set that to the side. All right. We're now going to do a very quick S, because I know S is one that many folk struggle with. Okay, and if you remember, I talked to you when we were doing the design for this, I talked to you about the two secret little donuts. There's one, and it interlinks with the other one, right dead on center. They overlink, they overlap with no overhang, just exactly spot on is where they overlap. Okay, and we're going to do it. So really, essentially what I'm doing here, okay, and let's just draw it on this. Here's a good way to do an S. You simply draw your circle, your donut, okay, you overlap it, and your little intercepting, your wee small circle in the center, it touches here, and this one touches here. And then what you can do is you choose where to start it, and you go up, round, and follow it round. Okay, across where you want to finish it, and just follow your line of round. So that's really what I'm doing, just in case you have any folks at home that are trying to understand. Okay, you can see the S there. All right, so that's the best way really to do an S, and you're going to do the same. The only difference is with this one, you want to touch off the sides of the box as much as possible. Here, here possibly, here, and here, so that you can save that part of the box, particularly with an S. You don't want to be cutting out and having two S's, and then you have to try and put them together. Okay, so I'm going to set that to the side. And what we're going to do, the center part, that center part there will make that 2 squares deep. So again, let's find our center line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's our center line there. Okay, we'll mark it on the other side while we're here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that can be our center line. So our S will be that thick. And what we're going to do is we are going to do our circle within that. Okay, it's going to come down. We're going to draw, we want it to be 2 squares wide the whole way around, so that only allows us to go from here, have our circle from here to here. Okay, and in fact we can do our circle within the 4 center squares. So I'm working 2 squares in, 2 squares in, so that's the width of my little center circle. 2 squares down. Okay, perfect. Curve just from one corner to the other. Remember I said you just only choose to curve from one corner to the other. Let's do it here. Curve from one corner to the other, to the other. Hard to see with the red. My blue's running out. Okay. All right. So you can see there the 2 little circles. It's exactly the same width there. It's exactly the same width there, and it's exactly the same width there. 2 squares, 2 squares, 2 squares. So basically, this area here is simply negative space. Okay, and we're going to use, as I told you, just only ever curve from one corner to the other. Okay, from one corner to the other, the top of our S, from one corner to the other, from one corner to the other. Okay, and let's see how far we want to take it up. We could take it up to about here, seems a nice natural point to stop. Okay. And we're going up, round, and really at this stage, this is the only time when you kind of go off piste and you do your own thing. Okay, you have to judge that really by eye. Lots of you now want to not want to choose an S. But an S is always very impressive when you get it done. So here we went up, we curved for one square, so it's the same up at the top. And then we went up 2, so we'll go down 2. So that means that we go down here and we come across. Okay. That can go off there. That one can go off there. That one can go off here and here. Okay. And then again, when you do this at the other side, you want this to be the same. So determine the width of your little bridge in the center, curve from one corner to the other, one corner to the other, one corner to the other, and one corner to the other. Okay, likewise here, one corner to the other, one corner to the other. Even use your arm if you want as a little pivot, your hand as a pivot, just to get that nice circle. Okay. This time you're going to have to remember, flick back over, there's the end of the S at the top, so you need to flip over and you need to make sure that you do it at the right side. You're going to have to do it back to front this time. Sorry people. Okay. And that one I actually should really have went up this way. Okay. If I can draw that for you in a darker line. Okay. We're going to curve from one corner to another and off, one corner to another and off, one corner to another and off. The beauty of going from one corner to another on one square only means you can't really go off shape. Okay, now I need to find the S, the end of my S. So that's the start of my S, comes up, round, comes down. And this is where you have to use your eye. And let's find where does it stop on that other side. It stopped on this line here. Perfect. Okay. All right. So I'm going to do that, guys, in 2 parts. Okay, I'm going to leave that as part A. That's the drawing out on your cereal box. There's 3 examples for you. It's up to you now to try and relate that to the box that you're doing. Okay, that's going to be part A. Okay, and I will do part B, which is also quite tricky. So you might need to go and get yourself a wee cup of tea and relax the brain after that. Okay. All right. Hopefully you can see that better with my darker pen. All right. Hopefully you can see that starting to take shape there. All right. And that is our S. Okay. So you go and get yourself a wee cup of tea, rest the brain, and I will get back to you with part B, the cutting out. All right. Thank you very much. Bye.